I, 32F, am still trying to get my head around the sheer audacity, the absolute nerve of it all. But mostly, I'm just operating. It's like a switch flipped. A couple of months ago, my boyfriend of 7 years, Mark, 34M, and I were having one of those rare deep talks. You know, the where we going kind. I brought up marriage tentatively. We live together in my apartment. Important detail, that one, lease is solely in my name. I owned it before him. We've built a life, or so I thought. His response? Babe, why do we need marriage? A piece of paper? What we have is perfect. Let's not mess with perfect. He smiled, so earnest, so convincing. And like a fool, I bought it. Or at least, I let him think I did. I smiled back and said, You're right, it is perfect. Something in my gut fell off, but I pushed it down. 7 years, you know. You want to believe. Fast forward to last Tuesday. Mark was at a work conference that ran late. I was tidying up our shared home office, which is most of my stuff, my setup. His laptop was open. An email notification popped up. Your order confirmation, Lux Gems Company. My heart kind of stuttered. Lux Gems Company is where you go for serious jewelry. Curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction brought it back, or whatever. I clicked. It was a receipt for a 1.5-carat cushion-cut diamond engagement ring. Platinum band. Price tag that made my eyes water, close to $12,000. Shipping address, his office. Recipient name for a discreet internal delivery note, Qley M. The email clearly stated it had already shipped a few days prior and was likely waiting for him at his office. Qley, 29F, is his work wife. The one he always said was like a sister. The one he laughed with a little too much, texted a little too often after hours. The perfect life he didn't want to mess up with marriage to me apparently didn't preclude proposing to her. The weird comment I mentioned? It descended right then. No screaming, no crying. Just ice. I screenshotted the email, saved it to my phone, closed his laptop. Waited. He waltzed in around 10 p.m., all apologies about the conference running over. I just looked at him. How was Qley? I asked, voice even. He blinked. Qley? Oh, she was there. You know, conference stuff. What? Just wondering if she liked her ring. The color drained from his face. I mean, gone. Ghostly. What are you talking about? I showed him my phone. The screenshot. Silence. Then, the waterworks. Actual tears. Sobs. Sarah, no, it's not what it looks like. It's a mistake. A $12,000 mistake, Mark. You accidentally bought your coworker an engagement ring that's already been delivered to your office. I was confused. Things at work. Qley, she's been going through a lot. I was trying to support her. It got out of hand. I wasn't going to go through with it. I love you. He actually tried to hug me. I stepped back like he was radioactive. You were confused. I repeated, deadpan. The ring was shipped to your office for you to give to her. You told me marriage wasn't for us because we were perfect. But we are perfect, he wailed, grabbing my hands. Sarah, please don't do this. I messed up, I know. I'm an idiot. But I don't want to lose you. It meant nothing. It meant you're a liar and a cheat, Mark. It meant our perfect was a lie you fed me while planning a future with someone else. I pulled my hands away. I want you out. Out? Out of where? Sarah, this is our home. No, Mark, I said, the ice in my veins somehow making me stronger. This is my apartment, and you need to leave. Pack a bag for tonight. We can arrange for you to get the rest of your things later. He just stared, tears streaming. You don't mean that. You're just angry. We can fix this. No, we can't. You broke this. Now, please pack. He eventually stumbled off to the bedroom, still blubbering. I'm sitting on my couch, weirdly numb, but also resolute. This is it. The perfect illusion is shattered. Now what? Update 1 week later. Well, it's been a fun week. And by fun, I mean a masterclass in manipulation and entitlement. Mark is technically out, but not without a fight. So, after the discovery and my you need to leave speech, Mark blubbered his way into packing an overnight bag and went to his best friend Ben's, 35M, place for the first couple of nights. He spent those days blowing up my phone with calls, texts, a mix of tearful apologies, I can't live without yous, and how could you be so heartless? I ignored most of it, responded to one text asking when he'd get his stuff with, let me know what day and time works for you next week. I'll have it ready. He clearly thought I'd crack. Then I'd call him, crying, begging him to come back. LOL. Nope. When it became clear I wasn't budging, his tone shifted. He started dragging his feet on picking a day for his things. I need to talk to you, Sarah. We need to discuss this properly. My response, there's nothing to discuss, Mark. Pick a day. The weekend came and went. Still no commitment from him. I realized he was hoping to just reappear, to wear me down. So Monday, while he was at work, presumably still working alongside his beloved Qley, I called a locksmith. New deadbolt, new knob lock on my apartment door. Cost me a couple $100, but the peace of mind? Priceless. I then spent the afternoon boxing up his crap. Clothes, toiletries, his gaming console, the stupid framed photo of us he insisted on keeping by my side of the bed. Piled it all near the entryway. He came by Monday evening, expecting to what? Walk in? Plead some more? His key didn't work. He called me, furious. Mark, my key isn't working. What did you do, Sarah? Me, calmly. I changed the locks, Mark. You've had a week to arrange collecting your belongings. Your things are boxed by the door. I can let you into the hallway to get them now if you're there. Mark, you changed the locks. On our home. You can't just kick me out like this. I have rights. Me. It's my apartment, Mark. Solely mine. And you were the one who decided to end us when you bought an engagement ring for someone else. Your boxes are waiting. He hung up, raging. Showed up 20 minutes later. I opened the door, chain on, pointed to the boxes. He was red-faced, sputtering. Grabbed them, muttering about how I was a cold witch. Fine by me. Then came Jessica, 32F, Mark's sister. She called me Wednesday night. Didn't even say hello. Apparently, Ben couldn't host Mark indefinitely, so he'd moved in with Jessica. Jessica, Sarah, what is wrong with you? Mark is a wreck. He's at my place, crying his eyes out. How could you just throw him out and change the locks like some psycho? Me. Jessica, Mark bought an engagement ring for his coworker, Qley, after telling me he didn't want to marry me. He lied for months, possibly longer. I asked him to leave my apartment. Jessica, oh, for God's sake, the ring thing. He told me. He was confused. He made a stupid mistake. People make mistakes when they're under pressure. He was probably just scared of losing you. And this was some weird, messed up way of processing his commitment to you. I almost laughed. Scared of losing me. So he buys another woman a $12,000 ring? That's a new one, Jessica. He didn't seem confused when he was planning a proposal. Jessica, you're being so unforgiving, so cruel. 7 years, Sarah. You throw that away over one mistake. He loves you. He wants to. Fix this. Me. This wasn't one mistake. This was a calculated, long-term deception. The apartment is mine. His things are with him. The relationship is over. Jessica, he said you're keeping some of his valuable stuff? His grandfather's watch. And what about the sound system he bought? Me. Getting tired of this. He didn't leave a watch. And the sound system? We bought it together, but I have the receipts showing I paid 80% of it because he was a bit short that month. He can have 20% of its current resale value if he wants to push it. Otherwise, it stays. She huffed and hung up. Now I'm getting passive-aggressive texts from Ben, Mark's bestie. Hey, Sarah, Mark's really down. Hope you guys can talk. He's not himself. Translation, you're the bad guy. Fix this. And Qley? Her Instagram, which was private, is suddenly public. Lots of new selfies. One with a very prominent, very new-looking generic silver band on her ring finger. Not the ring, but a clear placeholder and a message. She even posted a story with a vague caption. Sometimes you have to go through the storm to find your sunshine. Gag. The entitlement is astounding. They really think I'm just going to roll over. Not a chance. Update 2, 3 weeks later. Okay, the games have officially escalated. If I thought the initial fallout was bad, the last couple of weeks have been a special kind of circus, starring Mark and his troupe of enablers. After Jessica's delightful call and Ben's subtle nudges, the demand started. Not just for the mythical grandfather's watch, which, plot twist, Mark pawned years ago, a fact Jessica conveniently forgot, but for compensation. Mark, likely with Jessica whispering in his ear, decided he was owed for his emotional investment and contributions to the household during our 7 years. This from a man who consistently paid less than a third of the bills because he was always saving up for something big. Guess we know what now. Or between bonuses. A few days after he collected his things, while I was doing a deeper clean out of digital clutter, I decided to check his laptop's search history again, the one he'd left open. That's when I found it. Buried under work-related searches from the day, he ordered the ring were a flurry of panic queries for a quick engagement ring, returns no questions asked, Lux Gems Company return policy custom order, and cancel shipped engagement ring. So, he had panicked almost immediately after ordering it, or at least after it shipped. It didn't change the fact that he ordered it for Qley, had it sent to his office for her, and lied to my face for who knows how long. If anything, it just showed his cowardice and his attempt to cover his tracks once he realized the magnitude of his planned deceit or the financial hit. The original email confirmation had clearly stated it shipped, so his frantic searches were too little, too late. Then came dirty trick number 1. I got a visit from 2 police officers last Tuesday. A wellness check. Apparently, an anonymous caller, I wonder who, reported that I was extremely distressed, possibly a danger to myself, and that there had been violent shouting at my apartment. My blood ran cold for a second, then anger. I calmly invited them in, just to the entryway, showed them the lease in my name, explained that my ex-boyfriend had recently moved out due to infidelity on his part, and that, yes, we'd had one raised voice argument when he discovered I'd changed the locks after he'd already left and was refusing to collect his things. I even showed them the locksmith receipt and a copy of the ring order email. They were polite, clearly unimpressed with the anonymous caller, noted everything down, and left. One of them even muttered something about people abusing the system. It was a clear attempt to paint me as unstable. Dirty trick number 2. The following Friday, my boss called me in her office. She looked concerned. Said she'd received an email from a concerned friend of mine, again, anonymous, but the email address, when she showed it to me, was a burner with concern for Sarah in it. Real subtle, guys. The email vaguely implied I was going through a severe personal crisis, and that they were worried it was impacting my focus and professionalism. My boss, thankfully, knows me and my work ethic. She said, "Look, I know you're a private person, but if there's anything going on, my door is open. As for this email, it's unprofessional of the sender, and unless I see an actual issue with your work, which I haven't, I'm ignoring it." Still, it was a clear attempt to mess with my job. That was the last straw. These weren't just pathetic attempts to guilt me anymore. This was harassment. My methodical response kicked in. Asterisk lawyer up. Light, I had a consultation with a family lawyer. Explained everything, showed my evidence. Ring, email, manipulative text from Mark/Jessica, police incident number for the wellness check, the work email, the return search history. She confirmed I was well within my rights regarding the apartment and his belongings. She drafted a very firm, very official-sounding cease and desist letter. It detailed Mark's deceit, the evidence of harassment, affirmed my sole ownership of the apartment and its contents, barring his explicitly personal, already collected items, and warned that any further contact, slander, or attempts to interfere with my life or employment would result in immediate legal action, including pursuing costs and a restraining order. Asterisk the final collection. I emailed Mark, copying Jessica, so she couldn't claim ignorance, with a C&D letter attached. I stated he had one final opportunity to collect any remaining items he truly believed were his, excluding furniture or shared items where I had proof of majority payment. I gave him a 2-hour window the following Saturday. Specified he could bring one person, and I would also have a friend present. No arguments, no discussions. Just point, pack, leave. Asterisk evidence locker, documented everything. Saved every text, email, noted dates and times of calls. Kept the police incident card. The pickup was tense. Mark showed up with Ben, looking sullen. My friend, Liam, a burly, no-nonsense guy, stood with me. Mark tried to claim a bookshelf I'd bought and assemble myself. I just raised an eyebrow and pointed to the C&D letter resting on the counter. He grumbled, grabbed a couple of old sweaters he'd forgotten, and a dusty box of CDs. Ben tried to say something like, "This is really harsh, Sarah," but Liam just cleared his throat. and Ben shut up. They were in and out in 15 minutes. As they left, Mark muttered, "You'll regret this." Qley actually appreciates me. I just smiled faintly and closed the door. The engagement ring from Lux Gems Company? The one for Qley? He must have retrieved it from his office after I kicked him out. He certainly didn't leave it behind. What he did with it immediately, I don't know and don't care. If he gave it to Qley then, good luck to her with that cursed object. Speaking of Qley, her Instagram is now a shrine to her newfound happiness with Mark. Lots of lovey-dovey pics, none featuring any impressive ring. Notably, just that placeholder. One particularly nauseating post about finding her king after kissing a few frogs. The irony is richer than I can afford. The stress is there, but mostly I feel lighter. Like I've shed a 180-pound tumor of deceit. Final. Update, 6 months later. It's been about 7 months since D-Day, Discovery Day, as I now call it. The dust has mostly settled, and I figured it was time for a final update, especially since the revenge part, while not explosive, was deeply, deeply satisfying in its own quiet way. The cease and desist letter worked wonders. Mark, Jessica, and Ben went radio silent. Turns out, when faced with actual legal consequences instead of just emotional blackmail, bullies tend to back down. The dirty trick stopped, but the smear campaign had a brief afterlife. A few mutual acquaintances gave me the cold shoulder, clearly having swallowed Mark's psycho X-narrative. Good riddance. Anyone who believes that without hearing my side, or after knowing me for years, isn't someone I need. My true friends and my family were rocks. Now, for the satisfying part, watching Mark face the natural consequences of his actions. He wanted perfect without commitment. He got a whole lot of imperfection and a truckload of consequences. Asterisk the lifestyle downgrade. Mark had gotten very comfortable living in my well-maintained, spacious apartment in a decent part of town, paying minimal contributions. After a split, he and Qley apparently tried shacking up. Heard through the grapevine, a former mutual friend who saw the light, that it lasted about 2 months. Qley, it turns out, lived in a tiny studio with 3 cats and a mountain of debt. Not quite the Lux Gem lifestyle Mark envisioned. Their love apparently couldn't survive the cramped quarters and her financial realities. Asterisk the car situation. Mark drove a pretty decent SUV. He made a big show of buying it himself. What he failed to mention to most people was that I co-signed the loan because his credit was trash after some youthful indiscretions, i.e., maxed out credit cards. And I had been making a significant portion of the payments for the last 2 years to help him out while he was saving. Once he was out, I contacted the lender, explained the situation, and since my name was primary on the loan and I had proof of all payments from my account, I refinanced it solely in my name. I then sold the SUV. It was more car than I needed anyway, and bought myself a smaller, zippier model with the profit. Last I heard, Mark was taking the bus or bumming rides from Ben. Qley apparently didn't have a car. That must have put a damper on their dates. Astor's career stagnation. His, not mine, remember his attempt to mess with my job? Turns out, Karma has an office job too. Mark and Qley's office romance didn't go unnoticed. While not explicitly forbidden, their sudden, very public relationship after Mark's messy breakup, which despite his efforts, became office gossip, small world, raised eyebrows. Their productivity apparently dipped. Qley, who was rumored to be up for a promotion, didn't get it. Mark is still in the same position, no big bonus in sight. My career, on the other hand, is doing great. The focus I regained after shedding Mark has translated into some significant wins at work. Asterisk the infamous ring. This is my favorite bit. So, the $12,000 Lux Gem ring? After I kicked him out, and he'd presumably retrieved it from his office, Mark did try to return it. But because it was a custom order, as his panic search history I found later confirmed he discovered, he could only get a partial store credit or in exchange for something else from Lux Gems, not a cash refund. He panicked. In a desperate bid to win Qley over completely after their relationship went public post-breakup, he must have shown her the actual expensive ring, promising her that future. When he couldn't formally propose with that specific ring, perhaps because he was trying to get some money back or couldn't bring himself to fully part with something so costly for her under the circumstances, and instead tried to fob her off with the cheap silver placeholder she wore for a while. She apparently hit the roof. The Grapevine reports a massive public argument where she accused him of being a fake and a liar for not giving her the real ring he'd shown her. Oh, the delicious irony. Asterisk social fallout. Jessica, his sister, is apparently still fuming that I ruined her brother's life. She tried to rally the family against me, but even some of their relatives, hearing the full story, which eventually trickled out from less biased sources, thought Mark was an idiot. Ben, his loyal buddy, is apparently tired of being Mark's emotional support animal and crash pad. Last I heard, Mark is living in a cramped room he's renting from a friend of Ben's, still complaining about how unfair life is and how I overreacted. Qley has reportedly moved on to bigger and better things, her words on a not-so-subtle Instagram story. The perfect life he blew up is a distant memory. He didn't just lose me. He lost the comfortable, subsidized existence he took for granted. As for me, it was rough, not gonna lie. The betrayal cut deep. But I stood my ground, refused to be gaslit or bullied. I learned I'm a lot stronger than I thought. My apartment feels like mine again. I repainted, got new furniture, and it's my sanctuary. I'm dating again, casually enjoying my freedom. The peace is incredible. No dramatic courtroom showdowns or public shaming. Just the quiet, inevitable crumbling of a life built on deceit when the foundation, me, was removed. He wanted perfect without commitment to me. He got the imperfect reality of his own choices. That, my friends, is the best kind of justice. Thanks for letting me vent. It truly helped. Time to close this chapter for